Hello and welcome to the Physiology of Endurance Running podcast. We're back with another episode of Road to Valencia. It's 11 weeks to go, and I'm joined, well, as always, for the next hopefully 11 weeks by Dan and Jen. How are you doing, Jen? Start with you.
I'm good. Actually, a bit tired today, which is probably a reflection of a big training day. But apart from that, yeah, really good. Enjoying the different sort of training stimulus and things. So, yeah, all in all, it's A star.
Nice,
A
good.
star, that's what you want to hear, isn't it? A star. Just keep that up for another 11 weeks, Jen.
I'm not. I
Keep it
know in
going.
like 4 weeks' time when you ask me that question, it's gonna be like, nah, I'm over it.
Give me another 5K.
Yeah, pretty much.
How are you doing, Dan?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Uh, I'd say I'm not A star. I'm a bit close to that line. That's what I'm feeling. I'm quite close to that line of I've got another week to complete before tapering into Cardiff half, and I think I can just about complete a normal week of training, and then I need to taper. I think I was going to try and just keep doing what I've been doing. I think it'd be 2 weeks, and then like my Strava graph would like plummet down to 50k or something. So trying to be sensible because we're still quite a long way to go, but feeling good, feeling fit, feeling good.
Good, nice.
How about you?
And
How are you doing?
I've been in the wars on multiple fronts. We'll cover at least one of those tonight, I think. But yeah, compared to when we recorded last week, I'm feeling a lot better. I don't know if you
Trending,
could.
trending positively.
Yeah, I don't know if people could hear it in my voice, but I wasn't doing well last last Tuesday night. So no, feeling better now. Yeah, yeah, we'll go through it though.
Good, good. And before we get to that, then let's introduce our sponsor in Saw. So we mentioned it on the pod last week, but just to reiterate, they've got their marathon PB reward project going on at the minute. So basically, up until the 31st of December, if you set a marathon personal best, you will get a £50 voucher to be used at Saw. You don't need to be wearing their kit. You can wear whatever you like. Just a nod to the work that you've done and an extra recognition of your achievement. All you need to do is once you've got that, just take a screenshot of the results, a screen grab of results, go onto their website and upload the link, and you'll get £50 in credit, which is pretty good deal, to be honest, considering you're all striving for PBs anyway. And I know so many of you are preparing towards Valencia or Amsterdam or have just done Berlin Marathon. So yeah, definitely go and make the most of that, and hopefully an extra incentive to really go all in and get that PB.
Like my
Yeah,
mum listened to the
definitely worth
podcast
using.
last. My mum listened to the podcast last week, and the first thing she texted me was, "That deal with Saw sounds good." Like nothing about the podcast, just the deal with Saw.
Has she run a marathon before? She
She's
could go
definitely
get a
not going
PB.
to be running a marathon anytime soon, but she's all over the deal.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. Go and check it out. Um, what do we think of Berlin before we get into our own training weeks?
You know
Glad I
what?
wasn't doing it.
Yeah, that was the other option I had this year, and I am so glad I didn't pick it.
That would have been a hell of a debut, wouldn't it?
Oh
20,
no.
24 degrees, was it? Average?
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
play. Fair play to the people who kind of ran a PB or got a successful result because I think there was a lot of carnage out there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to give a shout out to my athletes because they all executed really well. Special shout out to Jonathan Coates, who he PB'd at London, 224, PB'd again in Berlin, even worse conditions, around 222. I think he was second Brit as well. And he
He's built
just, he
built
just
for the heat.
just he must just be built for the heat. I don't know. London based, it's always a bit warmer over that side of the country, isn't it? But just like completely like I think slight negative split, just like the dream was running everyone down. Then Simon Smith as well, but give him a shout out. Another PB, 30th marathon, 2 minute PB, 2:37 down to 2:35, and again just 6 minute miled it or just under the whole way, just like metronomic. Which yeah, they did. Fair play, because I think you can prepare as well as you want, but on a day like that, you've got to execute it.
Yeah.
And How many times I tell them to go off conservatively and be sensible and all this sort of stuff. Look at your heart rate, dial into your effort. You've got to go and do it, and that is challenging.
Especially,
But even
especially in
like,
conditions you've not trained in. Oh, although it has
no,
been warmer over the summer, so maybe slightly easier than
yeah,
London.
oh yeah, I do think a big definitely advantage to go into it from the summer rather than London, where it'd been quite cool and then suddenly
Yeah,
was what 20 odd degrees.
yeah.
And that's probably a bigger shock to the system than Berlin, but challenging. I mean, Sebastian Sarway as well, though. He's gonna break 2 hours, isn't he?
Yeah,
It's got to. It's got to be
100%.
worth. It's got to be
Yeah,
worth at least like a minute to 90 seconds in those conditions. Surely.
Yeah.
I think that Meteor app said it was sub 2 hours, didn't it? Like
Did it?
their like weather grading, I think
Yeah.
had it at like 1:59.
Yeah. Well, he was
I
on
love
2 hour pace until like 30K, wasn't he?
I love the apps that tell you you're going to be like
Um,
way better than the result.
yeah. Fair. But I mean, also, like, I think what was cool from him was doing that whole extra doping controls all the way up to Berlin, wasn't it? Like, you can't do much more than that, can you, as an athlete? And paired with Adidas, they funded him to be tested. It was something like 25 times, wasn't it, in the run up to Berlin? Which is, you can never say anyone's clean, but you've gone as far as you can to prove it. You wouldn't. That's not the move of someone who's taken something, is it? Because
Yeah.
even if it's some people say it, well, they're taking something that we don't know about yet, but they keep these samples and they retest them for years. So I've got to take my hat off to him, I think.
Yeah, and the taking something we don't know about sort of gets covered with the biological passport, doesn't it? So, like,
Yeah, in
yeah, you
terms of like if
can.
it's going to influence your blood parameters, like your hemoglobin parameters, then like you can't. Why would you risk it? If you were taking anything, why would you risk it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It'd be a bold move.
It would be a bold move, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd have got to really trust your doctor, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Should we do some training weeks?
Yeah, go on then. Jen, do you want to
Get
kick
into
us
it.
off?
I'll kick you off. So this is September. It's the 15th of September, isn't it? Which was the Monday.
Yeah.
Cool. So my week started pretty standard, with a 8 mile run in the morning at 7:25s. I was out early this day, 8:07 a.m., which
Early.
which is before the 9 o'clock start. Which it took a while to get going, but once I got going, I actually felt pretty good coming off the Sunday the day before, which was nice. And then I finished that up with some 12-second strides. I did 6 of them. I tried to do like drills and then strides and actually like stand and recover for at least like a minute between them. But I also try to get them over with as quickly as possible. I always say that to my athletes. I'm like, just make sure you do your strides. Like, you just want to sack them off at the end, but just do them anyway. So I did those
I always tell them.
at the end of the run.
I always say, like, to help control that, like, just walk back to the start because that's going to take you about a minute. If you're doing like 12
Yeah,
seconds, 10 seconds, by the time
that's
you've
true.
walked
Maybe I should
back, turned
start
around,
and then go
and then
again. I should
then
start
you can
doing
go
that.
like then you can do the classic like lamppost to lamppost or drain cover to drain cover then as well.
Yeah, I do tend to like just choose 2 random parts of like the bike path and just run between them, and it's usually about 12 seconds, but try to change it up every time so I can't like try to like run quicker and quicker and quicker every week. But yeah, so I did my strides on the Monday morning and then a little bit of a rogue afternoon run. It was a 2:15 p.m. start. So Dave and I share a car, and I record a podcast up at Cardiff Met on a Monday, and that finishes at about 2. And he was away for work, so I Ubered up there, and then the cheapest and easiest way to get home is to run it, which is a bit rough because I haven't eaten any lunch, and I've been sat in a podcast studio for like 2.5 hours at this point and drunk about 500 milliliters of water. But it's all downhill on the way back. So
I mean,
I
I
was
got
going to say,
I've got 2 questions here. So, like, not eating. That, like, we all know there's a cafe up there. So
yes, but then I've got to eat, and then what am I going to do? Just sit in the cafe and twiddle my thumbs for half an hour while my food digests?
that's what the sprinters do.
Yeah, but that's why I'm not born a sprinter.
And then
It
my
all-
second question here, like there is 100% a bus. There's
Yeah,
definitely a
Jen
bus.
doesn't catch buses, does she?
like,
Jen doesn't catch buses.
I can't lie. I actually don't know the last time I took a bus. And also surely like in terms of, using my time in the most wise way, just running straight back is the best thing to do. Because after my 4.7 mile run, I got straight into a hot bath. So 2:55 on Monday afternoon, I was sat there sweating in a
Stuart.
hot bath.
Yeah, nice. No, I mean you've broken Owain's rule. You wouldn't be allowed to double if you follow Owain's rule of fueling properly in between your training. Would she?
That is true.
I've broken that rule myself this week. So
Oh well, there we go. It's out the
But
window already, isn't it?
one thing I did take from Owain was that you need to eat more if you have a hot bath, or like you feel like you have to fuel. So I do always get back from a run before I get in. I smash like 10 jelly babies, and then I sit in the bath. So it's like a nice reward for the bath as well,
Yeah. I think Tim Podliger would approve of the jelly babies, wouldn't he?
We
Nice.
ordered a 3 kilogram bag of them arrived the other night. Sensational.
Yeah, that's what you're using for Valencia, is it? No
Yeah,
gels, just jelly
yeah.
babies.
No,
Old
no
school.
gels, just jelly babies.
Nice.
So that was Monday. Must have been
Before
fun.
we move on, I know we're going very slowly through this week here, but 20-minute hot bath. You've been doing 20 minutes for a while now, haven't you? Are we?
Yeah, I'm a bit
we going up
scared to get any
Are we going up
longer.
to 25, 30?
I feel like the time's got to come in the next sort of within this week probably. I think from my previous hot bath experience, I'm a bit nervous of extending the length of the hot bath without cooking myself. But I think I just need to grow up a little bit and perhaps eke it out to 25 tomorrow, and then hope for the best and see how I come off that, and then perhaps in a week or so's time a little bit more. But yeah, it's just I get a bit nervous.
Hope for the best. Sounds good.
Yeah. But I think that's probably going to be our play for that. But yeah, because Dave's been doing the same protocol as me, and he's up to 25 now, so it's just me being a bit of a wet wipe. To answer your question, although we have got a
That's
new
when it starts getting interesting with 25 minutes.
Yeah, we got a new thermometer for the bath, and it's a floating duck. So I'm quite excited to use that. To be fair.
See if that's reliable.
Yeah. Well, the other one broke, so we started using like the milk frother coffee machine thermometer for the bath. And I was like, nah, we need to get a new one.
You can you can get like specific thermometers for this that just stay in the bath.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe
we
we
had a
should-
couple that survived, tons of baths, but
Fish tank
Maybe we-
ones, that's what we've used, isn't it?
Maybe we should invest in one of those, but it's fun to do it rogue,
yeah, I guess we're always, well, no, we want reliable readings, but then there's a little bit where it's like, how am I going to write this in a paper? And if you're trying to write like water temperature is measured by Timu duck thermometer,
Yeah.
like it probably isn't passing peer review, is it?
Luckily, I'm never going to be writing a paper on this, so I think we're safe.
All right.
So-
Tuesday then.
Moving on to Tuesday morning. I had probably like my biggest ever like total volume session in one go. I had 4 sets of 2x2K off 30 seconds rest, and then 60 seconds between the sets. And I did this, if anyone's run the Safa 5K, I did this on the first like 2K part of the loop, and then I just went out and back. And I wore the Asics Metaspeed Edge. But yeah, so this session, so I asked Dave before we came on the podcast, I was like, can you just explain to me again why I was doing the session so I can report back with the right terminology? And he said it's basically because I'm a bit of more of a fast twitch type of athlete, and he eventually wants to get this to being like 4x5K. but before we get to that point, he wants me to be able to like break it up with short recoveries, so I don't let my lactate get too high, and then it defeats the point of like trying to run at threshold basically. So that's why there's the 30 seconds rest between the two Ks, and then there's the minute rest between the sets. The minute's kind of standard, but the 30 seconds is just to break up the two Ks.
Were you taking lactates on this
I was.
session?
So I took my lactates after the first set, and it was 2.8. And then after the third set and the fourth set, it was 3.8. So it did go up a bit, which, I mean, it's still under my LT2, but we kind of want to see it. So the difference between the first reading and then the third and the fourth reading isn't like, there isn't a 1 millimole jump basically. That's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's pretty stable lactate, but it is drifting upwards, isn't it? Just a sign that maybe the durability is still needs some work. But I mean, that's a great session. You've got 16K, is that right? 16K of work.
16K of work, and I ran
2:27:30 pace.
A little bit outside that. I was 704, 703, 701, 702, 701, 704, 705, 704. So pretty consistent. For me, I have a really big tendency to go out way too hard on the first rep, and then it's like game over because I'm trying to match that for all the rest of the reps, but I'm well above threshold by that point. So I'm like getting used to like trying to not hammer the first or even the first 400 meters of a rep, and then just slow it down to basically a jog. So it's just like getting better at kind of running consistent pace throughout the length of the rep as well, which I think in turn will probably help the kind of fluctuation of my lactates as well. And also mean when I come to running a marathon, I'm not going out way too hard in the first 5K and then suffering for the rest of it.
Yeah.
So that was
nice. Good morning's work.
That was my morning's work. Did that, came home, and then went out again in the afternoon for a 5-mile run. And I went to investigate the closed part of the Taft Trail at Haley Park. This was the day after the diversion had been set up, and it's truly horrific.
So we were running along up that way today, like near Jake's house, and there were just cyclists everywhere going, which way's the Taft Trail go? Which way's the diversion? It was just
it's awful. Carnage. And I don't know what the cyclists are going to do, because they've now put the diversion onto that plasticky mat stuff, and it's it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So all of the cyclists, including me, because I cycle to work that way, are avoiding it, and we're now going past. This is such a Cardiff moaning about traffic podcast. We're now going past Glen Taft School, and then you've got parents stopping and kids jumping out of cars, and I had some kids run out in front of me yesterday. It's really bad. I don't know. Yeah.
Cardiff Council, get your act together. What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be nice when it's done, but
yeah, for that 100-meter stretch of new bike path that's going to be there.
But as well.
Yeah, I'll stop moaning about it. It's okay. I've gotten over it now. It's taken me a week, but we're there. So that was Tuesday evening, and then Wednesday morning, I did a run. I've titled this with the new group, which is one of Jake Smith's favorite things to do. Is every week, if there's a new person add to the Wednesday morning run group, it now becomes a new group. But it was good to get out with I think it was Jake and Daff actually, and Dave, and we ran 8.4 miles in an hour and 2 minutes, just under 7:30 a mile. And coming off the Tuesday, sometimes I feel great on a Wednesday, and then sometimes I feel horrendous, but I actually felt pretty good that morning, which was good. And then I got back from that run, and I did another 20 minutes in a hot bath with a few jelly babies lined up on the side. And then following on from that,
do you eat them? So Jen, do you eat the jelly babies before you get them a bath, or do you line them up like rewards? So every 5 minutes you get to take one? or is
I
it
do
just
both. So
yeah,
I
straight in?
have a small handful before I get in, and then I do have them lined up on the side of a bottle of water as well. And I give myself a little reward every few minutes. It just keeps me going.
Nice. Yeah,
Is that
you need
not
some
what you guys
incentive,
do as
especially when it
well?
gets longer than 20 minutes, Jen.
Exactly. I'm gonna need more jelly babies at this rate. Is what I'm saying. So that was Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday afternoon I went to the gym, did my gym session. I was in there for an hour, um, and I've written down all the exercises I've done. But I tend to start with some plyos, and then go through sort of like 3 different sets of exercises, and then end up with some calves. Um, And once I get to an hour, I'm like, nah, done. Like whatever's left is not happening today. So I try to get it all done within an hour and out. And then I went out for a run when I got home, and it was peeing it down with rain again. Went up to the Heath that evening. I did 4.5 miles at 7:40s. So that was my Wednesday. It's quite like I call it a recovery day, but I don't know if you can call a hot bath, a gym session, and 2 runs like a true recovery day. Um,
Yeah, you got an hour and 35 minutes of running in there, plus a gym and a hot
yeah,
bath. It's quite a lot of
it's quite a lot for a
definitely my
recovery
pro
day.
hours life, aren't you? Definitely my pro hours life to fit
Oh
all that
yeah.
in.
Although it was a 5:45 p.m. double in the afternoon, so that's definitely outside of them pro hours.
That's influenced by Dave, though, isn't it?
Yeah, he always tells me he'll be ready for a run at 5 o'clock, and I'm there like scratching at the door, ready to go, and it's never 5 o'clock. But then I don't want to go on my own, so I just suck it up.
Nice.
Uh,
Thursday?
it's Thursday morning. I did a 10-mile run, and I was tired on this day because do you know when it was just one of those runs that just went on and on and on, like just didn't think it was ever going to stop. But I did a new route this day. I like went up towards Lanishan, and then like looped around up there, and then came back down past Roath. So I was trying to get a bit more elevation into the run. It ended up being way less than I thought thought it was, and way less than it felt as well. It was about 250 feet in 75 minutes, which is pretty terrible, really. Um, but got it done, and then I went out again in the afternoon. It was really weird weather on Thursday last week. It was like muggy, hot, humid, but like wanted to rain sort of weather. Um, so I did 4 miles in 7:50s, and I didn't enjoy a single second of that, I don't think. So I got it done. But that was me for Thursday, so that must
So
have been
question for you and
14
maybe for
miles.
Dave. Question for you and maybe Dave when we get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
30-minute run. Is it worth it? 30-minute
See,
run.
this is my argument as well. I keep saying like I want to do bigger doubles, blah blah blah, but I think he's a bit scared of me. Like I'm quite liable to like pumping up the mileage really high, and I think he's trying to hold me back a little bit with these shorter doubles. Otherwise, I'll be going out for
Yeah.
45 minutes, and there's an extra 2 miles 4 times a week.
Yeah. But a 60 and a 40, I sort of feel, obviously, if you're new to training, a 30-minute run is great, but surely there's some sort of minimum. I always think there's some sort of minimum duration, but you probably
You
need to
think?
get any
You
sort of
think?
adaptation. And for you, Jen, maybe 30 minutes ain't enough. Obviously, it's the context of 75 minutes in the mornings, you're carrying some fatigue in, but you've had to wait, I guess, until past 5 o'clock, haven't you, to get this double in with Dave? So
Yeah, 5:53
maybe,
p.m. Well,
geez,
I'll report back to him
geez.
later and let him know that the doubles need to be extended by at least 10 minutes.
Just a question. Just a question. But
He
anyway,
loves he loves a 30
uh,
minute double. He's gonna be heartbroken.
yeah. Well, Brady did cry when I told him he couldn't do 30-minute doubles anymore. He wasn't impressed by that. But he he's now on his 45-minute doubles and
But he's
seen the
loving them
light.
now as well. Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
that was Thursday. Friday was a double threshold day. So I started the morning with 3 sets of 12 by 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off with 90 seconds between the sets. I'm pretty sure I was running most of the 45-second reps. Although I don't know how much you trust GPS when you're going for that short amount of time, but it was somewhere between 3:18 and 3:23. Okay, for that, and then the 15 seconds, it's just starting and stopping your watch basically. But it's a glorified way of
That sounds
running
horrendous to me.
three.
15-second recoveries. I've played around with trying to do stuff like that short before and just thought, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not putting myself through that. It's just not a
It's
recovery, is it?
it's not a
Because you like
recovery at
on
all.
cycling, like no, they do. There's loads of cycling studies on there doing like 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off. But running, you've got the stoppage time. By the time you've actually stopped your watch and stop running, that's 5 seconds. And then you've
Yeah,
got the same when you're starting off again, haven't you? So
pretty
like
much. I just see it as a very
it's
hard way to run 3 by 2 miles, basically. Because I ended up averaging like 5:40s for like the sets, which is basically the same. Like that's basically between my LT1 and my LT2, and it's what my heart rate would suggest it is as well. It's just a different way of running it, I guess. And probably allows me to turn over my legs a bit
yeah.
quicker than what I'm doing all the other sort of sessions at the moment at. Um,
Yeah, no,
so
that's what it's
that's,
good, isn't it? That's what I do
yeah,
like about doing stuff like that. But I've it's like the classic of Brits and doing 20 times 400 or 30 seconds rest. But
yeah.
I couldn't bring myself to do 45 seconds or 15 seconds rest.
15
I
seconds
don't know
is a
about
bit
you,
like
Owain,
I
but I'm
do
not.
feel like a bit of an idiot as well, like running around the park and stopping for like 15 seconds and going again. I do jog, like I'm constantly moving, but it just yeah, it just looks like I'm really out of shape and I can't hack a run.
You're just
I'm like,
way too keen going out too hard and have to
yeah,
stop 45
oh
seconds in.
no, can't do it.
Yeah.
Um,
No, looks yeah, good though. Like, I do like the idea, get some faster
yeah,
running in, whereas still keeping it like pretty aerobic and
yeah.
stops you, Jen, running them too hard as well because
Well,
you can't overcook it if
exactly.
you've got 15 seconds rest.
Yeah, because I know the first time I did this, I looked at it and I was like, "What the hell's this? Like, why am I doing that?" I went out and absolutely hammered the first like 5 by 45 seconds, and I was like, my legs were screaming, my body was in a bucket. So I did learn from my errors the first time I did it. So that was Friday morning, and then Friday afternoon I did 3 by 10 minutes at LT1. Um, and it took me a long time to get out the door for this. I was like, "Oh, I just can't be arsed." I think I'd had a really busy day, and I was just like, nah. And David wasn't here to like motivate me, so it was rough. But actually, once I got going, I actually really enjoyed it, and it was pretty decent to be fair. I think I ran 5:55s for all of them, off 60 seconds rest.
Nice.
Um,
My favourite bit about this session is the comment from Craig Palmer saying, "Hi, Jenny Nesbitt. Appreciate it if you replied to your mother-in-law. Thanks in advance." You
I
leaning?
haven't replied to either of them yet.
Oh,
Technically, she's
it's
not my
not.
mother-in-law yet, so I've still got, over a week until I have to give her a response.
You just hold. Yeah, that'll be a nice awkward chat, won't it? On my wedding
Yeah.
day. On my wedding day.
Sorry.
Why aren't you replying to me on Strava?
Yeah.
I'm going to
Oh.
give it a like just to fill things up. Nice.
So,
So
yeah.
Saturday then.
Saturday I had 45-minute run. I did 5.9 miles. That was it for the running on that day. Actually, that was it for the day. Oh no, sorry. I did a hot bath afterwards. Another 20-minute hot bath. Lined up my jelly babies. But that was it for Saturday. I was going to go to the gym on Saturday as well, but I was just couldn't really be bothered, to be honest, and my legs were a bit tired, and I knew I had Sunday coming up, so I sacked it off and moved it to Sunday afternoon. Um, so just the recovery run on Saturday for me this week.
I like a Saturday just 45-minute jog. That's my standard.
Yeah,
I do like
yeah.
it.
Oh, it is nice. Do you know what? I'd looked forward to Saturday morning so much because I know I can just lie in bed for as long as I want with a coffee, and then I'm going out for a little jog, and then I'm like done for the day. I always like I can put on normal clothes. I can just like live like a normal person for the afternoon. It's great.
So how'd you
So,
spend your afternoon?
do you
All
know
this
what I
free
did all
time.
afternoon? I sat on the sofa and did nothing.
Oh, it's great, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
I wish I
it
could
was
do that. I haven't even got the options to do
fantastic.
that. It's you do my 45-minute run, and then it's right. How are we entertaining Nye for the next 10 hours?
No, none of that. Day was
Great.
away. I had the place to myself, and I did nothing all afternoon. I've started watching The Summer I Turned Pretty again from the start, which I'm a big fan of. So just locked into that really for the afternoon on Saturday.
Nice.
Before
Then
before
long run
getting up on
Sunday.
yeah, before getting up on Sunday, and it was a hot spice and 50 minutes steady with my favourite boys, Owain, Dave, and Jake. Um, Owain planned the route, and it was savage to start with. We went up Letchworth Hill. Is it Letchworth Hill? It's
Yeah, like a film.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many feet it is in a mile. It's got to be about 200, surely.
There's 59 meters in 1K here. That's quite a
Yeah,
lot of climbing, isn't it? 59
it's
meters in
it's
1K
pretty
for
it's pretty
Cardiff.
rough. But Jake did give me a big compliment, telling me I was strong up the hills, and that coming from a man who loves hills and loves wind, can't get better than that, can it?
And
There
yeah,
was a
just
lot of chat from Jake on this run.
There was a lot of chat.
yeah. Well, I'm glad I missed it. I think.
Yeah.
So it was,
I'm
yeah,
not sure my life's better for hearing it.
it was 80 minutes, easy. We ran 7:18s, and then 50 minutes, steady after that, averaging 6:08s. But I have since been told off for this run that I ran it slightly too fast. My heart rate was probably like 3 beats higher than what Dave wanted it to be, and he only decided to get in on me about it yesterday evening when I was cooking him dinner.
He's been holding on to that,
He's
Jen,
been
hasn't he,
holding
all
on to it
week?
all, like giving me, like absolutely selling me the bright light. After he'd met Owain on a run, it obviously came back and he was like fuming about the whole situation.
Nothing to do with me.
Yeah. So,
But
what do you put your LT2 heart rate as? What do you normally say it is?
my LT1 heart rate is 171, which is what the last 4 miles averaged at.
Yeah. So it's
So,
still
and I
quite
think,
controlled, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, that was my argument to him. I was like, it was still like really controlled, and at my LT1, it wasn't that fast. But I think he wanted it to be slightly under, but I felt great to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, what, 50 minutes at like 6 minute miling, basically, is it? Just outside?
6:08, I think it came out at in the end.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
that's with like
Nice.
road crossings and stuff as well.
yeah, and like people and corners and dogs and a headwind for the first like 4 miles.
Yeah. 349 a
Uh,
K, average heart rate 169
yeah.
for 50 minutes. Nice. 13K.
So yeah. So and like I did a very similar thing probably a month ago, but it was a long run into 20 minutes at like 6:20s, and my average heart rate is 171 on that week. And then I did it like a couple of weeks beforehand, and average heart rate was about 171 for 6:15. So like I can see the progression every week in these long runs with what my heart rate is doing, the pace I'm running, and actually how stable it is rather than like it just going up and up and up and up and up. It's like it's a lot more like stable now. It's not like just continuing to rise the longer I go,
Yeah.
which
That's a great marker that you're becoming more of a marathon runner, Jen.
that's literally what I thought. I was like, well, that's a good sign that I'm getting a bit like my heart rate's not like just going like through the roof all the time. Um, so I think I've got a lot of benefit from these Sunday runs. I think that's probably where like my most gains are going to come from. And, like being durable, like a 20-mile run would have killed me like 6 months ago. I would never have been able to handle it or come off it and then be able to complete a week after it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I definitely think that's your area that you're rightly working on, and it's going to be going to be where you need to make the progress, isn't it? Because your 5K and 10K times are fantastic. It's just being durable for 20
Yeah,
miles, 26 miles, 42K.
pretty
Um,
much.
I think that is, again, I think using heart rate in that way, I think is super helpful. Like so many
Yeah,
people do like fixate on the number, but actually looking at the trend over the course of a long run is probably
yeah,
more informative than actually what's the number. Like if it's like stable, like just flatlining, it's a great sign that your physiology is stable. You can sustain this for a long time. And
yeah,
if it
100%.
previously was just drifting upwards
Yeah,
and now it's
even
stabilized, then that's
yeah,
again a great sign that things are progressing.
definitely. Like even on easy runs, like I'd get to the end of like an hour and 45 minutes and I'd still be running 720s, but my heart rate be in the 160s. Like I just could never keep it flatlined. So that's definitely where I've seen the biggest kind of gains. Um,
Nice.
and
So
then
good week of training.
yeah,
Oh, gym as well.
I finished the week off with a Sunday afternoon date in the gym with Dave. Um, and he was
Romantic,
mortified
eh?
to hear that I'd called it a date. So here
And
we are again.
same exercises as earlier in the week.
Very similar. I change a few things out. Like the plyos stay the same. I still do like the squat, which I do every time. And then I think I changed like a couple of the other exercises. So I try to like do like a specific hip flexor exercise once a week. And like a single leg exercise, like two different ones depending on the day. But it all does the same thing. It's just a different way of doing it, I guess. And then the calf stuff stays the same. And that was an hour and five
Nice.
minutes, and I was out of there. So that was my
Big
week.
week of
It was
training.
yeah, 107 miles. So that's probably one of my biggest ever mileage weeks. So I was yeah, solid week of training. Take that.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Good job. Marathon runner in training.
Just trying to
Owain
like
then.
not
In
become too
contrast to the big
obsessed.
miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just keep it trending upwards. That's just my message there. You can't add on
Don't
2 miles every week, 3 miles every week, and
don't do what Dan does.
yeah, end up at
Okay, got
150 by the end of the block.
it.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do.
Cool. So a bit of a downer, I guess, coming up. So Monday back in same with Jen off of that long run that we. Oh, you were there as well, weren't you, Dan? For that
Yep.
one that we all did. I mean, different physiological effort for you. I think that one to what it was
Dan
for
was
Jen and
chilling.
I. Chilling. But yeah, no, back at work on Monday morning. So I did an hour. Out the door at 6:36. Quite nice though. Quite nice to be back on my loop and everything. And then yeah, so basically, I guess probably by default now I'll just be at work Monday to Friday, which is another like 40 minutes of cycling every day that I don't log because I sort of actually don't want to know about it. So there's 40
Yeah.
minutes of cycling in this as well every day. But yeah, so
So
then on.
sorry, Corey. So you're back. Basically, if you didn't listen last week, this you're back into normal routine after being away
Yeah,
on holiday
yeah, yeah.
in Italy. I get the impression you like your routine though. So
I
are you
do.
enjoying? You liking being back in Cardiff on your standard loop?
I am. I mean, the weather wasn't great last week, so I wasn't enjoying it as much. But yeah, this week so far been nice. Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe give it a few weeks of bad weather, and we'll see. Um, I mean, like midway through last week, the holiday blues did really hit, and I wasn't happy to be back. So
No.
yeah, but yeah, no. So yeah, I tend to stick to the same schedule each week, training wise, and I think it works. I remember Dan when I started this job, and I was like, I think this is going to be my goal for like training, and maybe I'll work into it. And you said to me, you're like, just go for it from the start in terms of the what every day is. Just go straight into it, and then just sort of like stick with it. Sort of, not being stupid about it, but like as soon as you get out of that routine, it's really easy to not get back into it. Even in terms of like, I set my alarm at 6, and like I could probably set it at 10 past or quarter past, but I know then that will then slip to 20 past, and then an hour will turn into 40 minutes sort of thing. So
Yeah, I find it
yeah,
really.
it's just,
When I was like in the lab every day, I found it super helpful just to know, right, these days I get up at this time and I do this, and pretty much just having the same formula every week. It just helps keep you accountable, doesn't it? You don't even question like, what am I doing today? How far am I going to go? You just go and do it.
yeah, yeah,
I do
yeah,
think it's a good tool.
yeah, and I think it's worked for me. But yeah, so yeah, Monday morning hour easy. Yeah, like I don't know, I just felt fine, like it was okay. And then sort of lunchtime at work, my nose just like turned into like an absolute waterfall, and I was trying to eat my lunch, and like just like, well, I couldn't breathe out of my nose, and like you're trying to eat at the same time wasn't ideal. But then I cycled home, and that just like that cleared my head. So I was like, okay, well, whatever, like it's just being back in the UK or something. And I went for a run in the evening ran with Rachel in the evening. So and she had played her first hockey game of the autumn winter the day before, so she was like aching, like when you do a new sport for the first time and you
Oh,
like
the
find out,
DOMs.
or like you after the Great North Run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we like normally we're like 5:15, 5:20 a k, but we're 5:30 for this because she like we ran the first 50 meters and she was like, I don't think I can run. um yeah. But no, like I felt like that cleared my head as well, so I was like, okay, like keep sort of going. Woke up on Tuesday morning, basically probably too much information in the next few minutes, but blew my nose, and that completely cleared my head. And I was like, I've got no other symptoms. I've slept fine. Like, I'll just try a session and see. And I hadn't, well, because I was thinking like, oh, I don't know if I'm ill or what. So I hadn't planned anything. I just had 10 by 4 minutes in my watch, like pre-programmed. So I just did that on the treadmill. Um, with 100 grams of carbs throughout as well in a bottle. And yeah, again, felt absolutely fine. Like I had to blow my nose twice, I think, but like no other issues. Heart rate is like exactly where it should be. Actually feeling pretty good. I think I was like, did the whole thing at 17.5 k an hour, which, might not be accurate, but yeah, like in terms of using the same treadmill this entire time, like it's progressing. So I was like, I'm fine, sort of thing. But yeah, again at work, my nose was just like an absolute sort of waterfall again, which wasn't ideal. But then again, cycled home and that cleared it again. So I was like, well, I'll just keep going. Like I'm feeling like absolutely no other symptoms. Just my nose was just non-stop running.
Sounds like it's
Um,
something to do with the office.
yeah, ran was I know, yeah, maybe, maybe. I think it's because I'm indoors and I'm in like it's multiple doors through. There's like no fresh air.
Mm.
And then as soon as you get into that fresh air, you feel like just a
It's
lot
an old
better.
building, isn't it?
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah,
It's not well
old.
ventilated.
Yeah. I think yeah, just being in some fresh air, and like for me as well, when I cycle home, it's like very chilled. So just that makes you pretty much always feel better. But yeah, so yeah, ran and again felt fine, and then I came on here and I was starting to struggle at that point. Like it turned from a sort of blocked nose to like a headache. But I was like, oh, I think it's just a headache from where like my sinuses are blocked. Um, yeah, wasn't ideal. Was it like, to be honest? We finished recording and I was like, I just want to go to sleep. Um, and then I woke up on Wednesday morning, and I wake up and I go get a coffee, and walking from the bedroom to get the coffee, like I just instantly got really hot, like that sort of not quite cold
Mm.
sweat, but like just was hot, and I was like, that's sort of my tell that something's up. And then my Garmin's like in sleep mode until 7, so I started a run just to see the heart rate, and it was like 120, whilst I'm stood there like sipping some coffee. So I was like, nah, like I
No,
think that's
not
my
looking good.
sign. Like, just bin this run off. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think as
Yeah.
soon as you can't like regulate your body temperature, like you're probably not great. Um,
That's what I was going to say. Like for me, yeah, big like red flag. You're not running is you can't. Your thermoregulation just goes out the
yeah,
window. Like,
Mm.
yeah,
just something that's more than just a cold, isn't it?
Yeah, and annoyingly, like again, I blew my nose once, and I was like absolutely fine. There was no other symptoms. It was just that. So I went back to sleep for an hour and a half, which was actually quite nice. Um, yeah, woke up, had a shower, and then like I was sort of sat around then for like 40 minutes until I needed to leave for work. Like I had breakfast and like just felt completely fine. I was like, if I'd woken up now, I would have just run. But yeah, so sort of yeah, just decided like just bin off the run that day. Like don't even try in the evening. Um, and then woke up on Thursday, felt fine. Like didn't have the temperature thing. So I was like, well, let's see how this goes. And sort of got 5 minutes into the run, and then was just I don't know, just not feeling great, just feeling a bit off. It sort of disappeared for 5 minutes and then came back, and I was like, let's just turn around and head home. So ended up doing half an hour, and also quite a lot slower. I think I also had like a bit of not DOMS, but like my legs just felt a bit rubbish, and I was like, again, that's probably another sign. Like,
Yeah.
haven't actually done anything to have any DOMS, but I've got a bit. So, yeah, just half an hour on Thursday. And at that point as well, like I was all my thinking was the next. I don't want to say important run, as in like I would make like a silly decision to do it, but I was like, the next run that I think is the most important one is Sunday. So it's like rather than push on Thursday, Friday, Saturday and try like catch up or try do my normal training, it's like just do sort of like the minimum dose to be able to be good to go on Sunday. Was my sort of thinking at that point. It was like as soon as I stepped out the door and started running on Thursday, I was like, I'm not doing a session on Friday. Um, I'm not going to do anything on Saturday. Like it's just get to Sunday. And at that point, to be honest, it was get to Sunday and just be able to do a long run, like not even do any quality. Because yeah, I think if you like, I think if I just pushed through and prolonged this, I'd still not be feeling great now, and it would have affected Sunday and it would have affected today.
Mm.
So I think actually like being quite aggressive in terms of like, okay, that's my sign to stop. Just completely stop. Don't try push through is probably the better way to do it. Than yeah, trying to push through and still like making it linger like a week later.
Yeah. It's
Um,
And
always the best thing to do, isn't it? Like
yeah.
everyone's made that mistake so many times, haven't they? I definitely have. Trying to get smarter, but because you've had chronic fatigue in the past as well, haven't you? So do you think that reinforces to you the idea of let's be conservative here and just take our time?
yeah,
Was
I
that?
think also I mean I'd like to think so, but I think if this was 4 weeks out from Valencia, then like maybe not. Um, maybe then at that point, I'm like messaging you guys, being like, "This is how I'm feeling. What should I do?" Sort of thing, trying to get that like other
Yeah.
opinion.
It's
Mm.
easier
Um,
to keep your heads, isn't it, when you're 10 weeks out compared to 4 weeks out? And actually, I
yeah,
think probably 4 weeks out is even more important to not get carried away because you've done most of the work by
yeah,
then, haven't you?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like you're more
and
likely to make it worse at that point than better if you're trying to keep if you miss one session, that's not too bad, but if you miss a week.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, and I was sort of saying to myself as well, like, yeah, like it's 11 weeks out, and I thought when we went to Italy, I thought I was going to have like at least one day where I couldn't run just because of travel, and maybe two, and I didn't have those, so I was like, well, I thought I was going to have a day off the week before anyway, so like one day off here really doesn't matter. Yeah, and I think as also maybe like people were like really worried when they lose a session, but I don't think there's a massive difference in terms of like the fitness added by an easy run versus a session. Like I think in reality they're very similar. Um, so yeah, even if you easy run for 4 or 5 days, like you're not gonna get unfit doing that.
No, no. That's definitely something I appreciate more now. Is if I miss a session and I just run for 7 days, often I'm better having just jogged for 7 days because my legs are a bit fresher, I've recovered more, and I'm you're just not going to lose anything if you're still out there running every day. You might not get loads of like your fitness might not keep increasing, but it's not going to go backwards.
Yeah, yeah, and you just it then means you can do pretty much a full quality session a few days later rather than a
Yeah,
bunch of crap ones.
yeah,
And then and also just mentally it sucks, doesn't it? Like if you do a bunch of crap sessions. Yeah. But yeah. So then Friday felt at this point like not bad. Like to be honest, at this point now, it's just blowing my nose like basically every 2 or 3 minutes, and occasionally like having to stop just to like clear my throat. Was really the more annoying thing than anything. Like that was the main sort of issue. Yeah, so absolutely like peppered the taff with snot rockets. And then and then Saturday again just another hour easy. Met Rachel at there's a bakery in Llandaff, which is like a just about manageable walk back. So we like finish there, get some food, and then walk home.
Is it a good bakery? Do we
So
need to
I
check
had
it out?
my loaf. Yeah, it's good, really really
Okay.
good. Yeah,
You getting a
actually, Vicky in the Strava comments said I need to start scoring cakes out of 10.
It would be
So I
useful
had a cherry
for
bakewell
us.
slice.
It's a good
Yeah,
choice. That's a good choice.
there's a lot of choice. There's a lot of choice at this one. Cherry bakewell slice, I reckon, like maybe 9 out of 10. Like it was a massive slice as well. Like it wasn't. Yeah, they weren't. They didn't. They didn't give me a tiny slice there. That was good.
I
You
mean,
do
like,
look
I wasn't
buzzing
sure if it was
about it in the
perspective or
picture.
not, but it looks like it's the size of your. It looks like the size of your
Yeah.
head in the picture, doesn't it?
It was big. It was big. Yeah. When I opened the box and I was like, "Whoa, have I got two bits here?" And it's like thick as well. Yeah, good cherry bakewell slice. And then yeah, Sunday. So to be honest, even on Saturday, I was thinking maybe I'll just do a 60 minutes easy on Sunday and just sort of start over on Monday. But
Because
as Saturday went on, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, because you even messaged us, didn't you? Like, what are your plans for Sunday? Like, not sure about. You were very non-committal on Saturday night.
Yeah,
You're like, I'll just see how I feel in the morning.
yeah, and I
Well,
was
we were.
feeling.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
mean, we had food, didn't we, on
Yeah,
Saturday night, and you were even then like non-committal after that about what you're going to do the next day.
and I think like we ate food and I felt so much better after eating. I think I also hadn't eaten it. I've just said I've had a huge slice of cherry bakewell, but then I didn't really eat much else that day. Um, yeah, so I think maybe I was a bit hangry as well. But yeah, after we ate, I was like, I feel so much better. Like I'm sort of good to go.
Well, I think Rachel's comment was something along the lines of, "He is doing a proper long run tomorrow. Look, he's carb loading here." Did you ever review the amount you ate?
Yeah, it was good food.
It was good food. Newport
Yeah,
Market, I would
yeah.
recommend.
um, Yeah, no. So I woke up on Sunday morning, and like again, I said probably too much info in this chat, but like where I'd been blowing my nose, like when you're ill and like your snot is like yellow, and I blew my nose on Sunday morning, and it was like clear, and I was like, okay, we're good. Like I'm
The
through
snot
this.
check.
And
He's
yeah,
passed the snot
snot
check.
check. But then I think also like that was the only symptom I was having that like something was up, was just the amount of stuff coming out of my nose. So I was like, well, that's changed. So I think I was like, I think I'll be fine. But like, like Jen said, I planned the route, but I did plan the route knowing that I could dip off sort of 20 minutes in. So I ran like 15 to meet you.
Yeah.
And then like another 20 minutes in, I could have then turned around and headed home quite easy. But yeah, no, it actually felt really, I say not bad. To be honest, I probably regret putting in Leckworth Hill because we went up that and my heart rate went like fairly high.
There
Going up
were
that.
a few huffs and puffs coming from behind when we were going up
Yeah, I
there.
was getting slightly dropped. Yeah, and then the 50 minutes. Like I knew this was going to be a bit harder than the week before. And yeah, to be honest, like my heart rate drifted a bit throughout. It stayed below LT2, which is fine, I think. But yeah, where Jen, you were saying like your heart rate was steady, mine was just drifting up. There were points where it leveled off, and there were points where it actually dropped, like where we got into quite a good rhythm.
Yeah.
So I was sort of taking that as like, well, when we're cruising, like this is fine. But yeah, so that ended up being just over 20 miles for me. And I think a good session, like, yeah, I've been ill a few days before, so sort of take it as an all right session. Like, didn't feel too terrible afterwards. Um, yeah, I think hopefully back to it this week, really. So I think, yeah, considering I had a day off, it ended up being still like 8 hours, 18 minutes, which I looked back and that was what I was doing normal weeks before Barry. So like a quite reduced week for me. And it's more than what I was doing before. So yeah, pretty happy
That's
with that
good.
all told.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I had you run up there, and your heart rate going up Leckworth Hill was higher than it was during the 50-minute effort at the end. 174 peaking.
Yeah.
So it was
Jake and Jen pushing the pace.
yeah. You got some good. What did Jake say on your run? Something about he's in shape or something, wasn't it? What did you
Yeah,
comment? I've missed it.
I mentioned about the weather because Jake not he let me down. He normally puts about the weather on his Strava. I was hoping he was going to say about the headwind on the bay.
No, I didn't want to let
He,
people know about the headwind
yeah,
on the bay, did he?
He's keeping it quiet. He's keeping it quiet for Cardiff
yeah,
half.
yeah. We were
Nice.
pointing out to him where he's gonna launch during Cardiff half as well.
That's just first step, isn't it, Jake?
Yeah.
First K, 250. Off he goes.
You'll be alongside him, won't
No,
you?
probably, yeah. Being a moron, yeah.
Yeah, good week. How about you, Dan?
Nice. Yeah. Let's get to my week. Yeah. So we all had that long run on Sunday, didn't we? Before the
Yeah.
week before. Came off that pretty well. So did 75 minutes in the morning, 4:16 a k, 18k. In the afternoon, 40 minutes, 4:10 a k, and then did my plyometrics and 4 times 12-second hills. So it's something I've not been as on top of recently. So I'm trying to get back into that. Felt very slow on these hills. And I was saying to you, Jen, about I've got drain cover to drain cover. So it's 12 seconds, but it's actually normally 12 seconds to start with and getting down to like low 11s by the end. And I don't think I didn't break 12 this day. So it wasn't a good day.
It wasn't the day.
Pretty poor weather, I think, as well.
Do you just do this in your mileage
Um,
trainers, or
and
do
I
you
like,
go home,
yeah,
switch your shoes out, and then wear different ones?
right. So that's another thing I was just about to say is that normally, so this hill is literally like next to my house, like 20 meters from my door. And normally I go into like some old school flats, which I do my
Yeah.
plyometrics in and then do the hills in. But this, I think the weather was like really bad, so I just stayed in my trainers, and I haven't done any hills for a while. I've just had like I'm not pain, but like a little bit of awareness in my Achilles as well, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to keep a high stack here. So ran it in Maneuver Blasts, which maybe I'm going to say that's the reason why they were not under 12
Yeah,
seconds today, but
it's
it was
definitely
definitely that
worth half a
Maneuver Blast,
second.
not the fact that wasn't enough. That's yeah, easy. But yeah, got that done, which was good. Next day, met up with Jake. So it's been quite nice because on Tuesday mornings he's doing a classic double threshold. So he does his LT1 like efforts, low intensity efforts in the morning, and I can now at the minute I can just about hang with him and stay under my LC2 heart rate whilst he's doing an LT1 session. But he's got this bloody awful loop, which is from his house and it goes up the Taft Trail, the worst part of the Taft Trail. There's barriers you've got to dodge. It gets really narrow. There's a couple of like undulations. You can't get a rhythm. On this particular one, there's a bollard. You know that trail at the end, which is like dirt. You can turn left to go into Tongwyn Lice underneath the underpass, or you can go right onto a dirt trail and do a loop at the end. And there's a tiny like gap you've got to like squeeze through, like a metal barrier. And I didn't see it, and I nearly went like full steam into it and like broke my hip, but I just managed to dodge it in time.
It's such a bad loop. Like, well, no, it's most of the loop is good, but there's some like elements of it that are really bad for running fast.
Yeah,
like that gate sucks on an easy run.
Yeah, it does, and like he loves it. Jake goes, it keeps you honest loop. You'll feel when you get onto a good loop, a race day on Valencia, and it'll feel so much better, which I get. But I just spend my whole time going, I'm having a good day here. I'm going all right, but my paces are just average because of the course. And you go around a corner and your GPS like drops 5 seconds a K, or you just hit a hill or a corner, and it depresses me a bit. But it was still a good session, and I won't bash it too much because I enjoy it. It does feel a bit more organic instead of just laps of a mile loop in Butte Park, which is perfectly flat.
Great loop.
And we were going all right. So we did, so 5 times 2K, 400 steady. We averaged 313 a K for the whole thing. Get my splits up now if my internet loads. So the paces are a bit all over the place just because I said of the nature of the loop we're doing it on. But basically going, what should we do? 307, 311, 306, 304, 304 for the on efforts. Then the offs, we're still keeping a pretty decent pace. So we're 346s, 346, 334, 353, 403. I think we did a U-turn there, and then 333 at the end, obviously, to keep the average as high as you can, the average pace as high as you can. And I actually felt pretty good. Heart rate was below 82 the whole time. Average 156 beats per minute for the whole thing, which is pretty much my LT1 heart rate, but I'm peaking at about 167, 168, and my LT2 is 170. So it's sub threshold, but marginally. Like I'm pretty much, he dropped me on the last couple of reps, I think I just let him go a little bit because I knew he was running 3-minute Ks. And I knew that was going to be too much for me that day, up a hill, going over around corners. So still a good morning, and it does make it so much easier when there's someone there, doesn't it? Because I spend most of my time doing my sessions alone, and just getting on the back of Jake. It's fun. It's fun.
The biggest hype man out there.
Oh God, yeah. He's you're gonna run 208, Dan, in Valencia, he's saying. You're gonna run 208. I'm like, great, yeah, thanks, Jake. I'll do it. So it's good for your confidence. And then so that was the morning. I did the what do you reckon to this? What's your thoughts on this? So I forgot to start my watch on the cool down, so I did a manual upload of 1.5K because I knew how far the cool down was because Jake had obviously was doing it with me. Is that acceptable, adding mileage like that? Or if it's in a manual upload, it doesn't count?
I don't know if it's legit.
I did run it. Yeah, I could be lying, couldn't I?
Yeah.
But anyway. So that was morning.
We'll believe you.
Thanks. Afternoon then. So did a second session, 10 times 800 off 75 seconds rest. And I've deliberately, something I'm doing a bit different this block to last, until my training more recently, like going into London, which I didn't start, and then Valencia last year, is I'm trying to do a bit more intensity with the idea that when I ran like Barcelona half, I just found 3-minute Ks, which was like the goal pace, like really from a muscular standpoint, hard. So I want to do a little bit of stuff under 3-minute K pace, which was the plan going in. And I was like, right, I can run these at 220s. And by the time I'd got to the start of the first rep, I'd talked myself out of that, thinking I'm tired now. I'm not feeling great. Quite a big session in the morning. If I can run 224 for the first one, that'd be great. And maybe I get down to 220s. But as soon as you start, I ran 221 for the first one. And then I was like, well, fine, I can do 220s. It'll be okay. So averaged, I ran 220, did the first one 221, and then all the others were 219 to 220. Felt pretty good considering my expectations going in. A good chunk of time at 255 to 253, 254 a K pace. And I was pleasantly surprised actually. And heart rate didn't get very high, which I don't know if it's just because they were short reps or I was tired, but let's have a look. What did I peak at? I got to 171, and as I was saying earlier, my LT2 heart rate is normally 170, but I didn't take a lactate, but it definitely would have been above threshold. I was breathing pretty hard. So yeah, good day. Come on, internet. Where are we up to? So Wednesday, I felt pretty bad. It was a big day the day before, and I definitely was feeling the extra intensity of the 800s. So I did 77 minutes in the morning, 18K, 418 a K. And in the afternoon, inspired by Jen, I did 45 minutes and then finished with some core.
I was really pleased to see
so
this.
I'm still, yeah, that was just for you. I think I said last week, I've not really done an ASNC for a while, and I couldn't get to a gym that day, and I still haven't found a gym to use. I think I've solved that problem now, but at the point in time, I hadn't got a gym I could go to. The one but in Cardiff Met that I had been using has got a hole in the roof, so I can't use that one. They're fixing it. So I thought, right, I will do some core. I've had a bit of a bad back, and I've been set some core exercises to do by Johnny Harper. I'm actually going to do them. So did that as my like token S&C. And then Thursday, I felt really tired. It was one of those runs where you finish it and you just sit on the floor afterwards for like 20 minutes. And just after
I think
an
it
easy
was
day.
the weather on Thursday.
More, not because I had to, just because like the weather was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like
The
that
weather was
muggy,
bad.
like close. It was horrible.
Yeah, and I was deliberately not going to run in the afternoon because I'd take Nightwish swimming and I had a big session planned for the next day, and I just felt I felt pretty bad on this run. So I did an hour 27, just over 20K, 419 a K, on a loop with some undulation, but just felt bad. And yeah, just couldn't be bothered, to be honest. I was thinking I'd overcooked this week already by this point. And I had a big session planned for the next day. It was one of those where you think, am I ill? Am I dying? Like, what's going on here? I'm just feeling like wiped.
I can imagine you being so dramatic
Did my
on these
plyos and
runs.
hills again afterwards as well. What's that?
I can imagine you being so dramatic.
I don't think I'm a hypochondriac, but I felt like I've been there so many times. If I overdo it, I get their illness symptoms and I start to get in my own head. But anyway, I also did my plyos and hills again after this session. So I said, and this was like a mental battle. This was like, if I do my plyos and hills, I don't need to go out again later. So I did my plyos and hills and then felt sorry for myself for the rest of the
The
afternoon.
things we say to ourselves to get us to do stuff, it's unreal.
Yeah. I want to finish my run and go into my house, to be honest. That's what I want to do. I don't want to go and do my strides or hills and plyometrics afterwards. But anyway, I did it. Friday then, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this session because, like I said, I felt pretty rubbish the day before, just generally. And then I woke up like okay on Friday morning, warmed up and thought, well, I'll see how it goes. So I did 3K warm up and then I did 30K of 1K on, 1K off. And I was pleasantly surprised. Body was actually feeling pretty good. It was just a loop by my house, which is not the best. It's because we're in the valleys. It's always like this loop is just over 5K and you're basically going either slightly up or slightly down the valley. But because it's there was also a wind out there, so if it was against you on the downhills and then with you going up, so it sort of evened out the splits a bit, which was quite nice. Didn't get hit by a car, which was good because there were a few dodgy encounters. But yeah, aim going in was like 310, 330, and I was just inside that. I averaged 319 for the whole thing. A bit of deviation in the Ks. I think the fastest were down to like 306, 305 on some of the downhills. And then the offs were like between 324 and I think at the end I was tying up a little bit, so it was a 338 float, and then some of the efforts were like, I think the last effort was 315, and I was definitely like hanging on here. Like heart rate was drifting quite a bit, but sometimes I would just cut this short. But having like cut my last like long session short, I thought, no, I'm going to get through this, and yeah, was pretty happy with that. Had 3 gels, and felt like I tolerated them better than last time, although still not great. But it was really humid, wasn't it? I don't know if you remember, but it was so
Yeah,
humid
it
that
was
day.
horrible.
And I finished the run. I was like, I finished the run and I was in a bit of a hole, but I still had like through like 2.5K to my house, and there was a corner shop just around the corner. So I go in with my like Garmin Pay into this corner shop I've never been into before, in my sore half tights and my sore vest. And these two at the
Sensational.
counter were just looking at me like, what have you been doing? It looks like I've just jumped out of a swimming pool. I'm so sweaty. And I buy
So
500
good.
ml of water and a Lucasade, downed it both, and then like very slowly jogged home, with like almost regretting having drunk all that, because I was like
It's like
so
sloshing
bloated.
around.
But yeah, it was pretty miserable. I was feeling sorry for myself at this point. Like a high of thinking, yeah, the session's gone well, but also I've got a 13-minute 55-second jog home, which includes a 1K segment where I gained like, let's have a look, 30 meters in a K. Not quite as bad as your Leckwith Hill, but it was pretty
Pretty
bad.
savage way to end 30K of on-offs.
Yeah, ideally I wanted to finish a bit close to my house, but I I played the game of making sure the last hard K effort was downhill, just to give myself a bit more of a cushion,
Yes.
which meant I finished a bit further away. But yeah,
How
so that
how
was
how did you decide on the paces for the ons and offs?
a bit of, so I'd done 32K at 324s the week before, and I thought I can probably average faster than that for this session. And thinking I probably would average about 320. And the goal was roughly marathon pace for the ons, which I averaged 309s in Valencia and ran I probably averaged about that for the session today. And then the offs, I always think you just try and keep it as a good pace as you can while still recovering. And naturally, I just ended up running somewhere between 325 and 330.
How much does your heart rate drop when you
So
do the
yeah,
offs?
not like massively, like 10 beats. I mean,
Okay.
my heart rate average for the whole thing was pretty good actually. What did I average? 157, and I'd normally average 165 for a marathon, but it was peaking. I didn't go above LT2 heart rate. I was like 167 at the end, for the efforts, and then it was dropping down to like the 150s by the end. Yeah, into the mid 150s. So it's a bit of drop, but it's keeping pretty high the whole time. But I am definitely looking at the heart rate in these sort of sessions in terms of determining if it's going to be a good day or a bad day. And if I've gone out with a goal of going inside 310s, but if heart rate had been too high too early, I'd have ramped it back a bit. There's another question on this one, wasn't there? About
Yeah,
on Strava about.
it's
Do
do you want me to read it? Conal.
Yeah,
So he was asking about the rationale for fartlek in modern running. Um, yeah, and
yeah. I think it was basically asking about, is it really specific to the marathon? And for me, like, these are the ones where I feel are the most specific to the marathon in terms of like, how do I feel in this? What's my heart rate doing? What my lactate levels are like compared to if I was doing the marathon. Because you can go into a hard long run, but you've got to be a little bit below marathon pace there. Otherwise, you're just racing a marathon in training. So I find those are a different fatigue normally than like when I've gone and done like 40K long runs before at like 330 a K, 325 a K. That feels like hard, but I want to stop just because I've been out there running for a long time now, not necessarily the intensity. Whereas you can you could go and just do like, right, I'm going to go and do 10 miles at marathon pace, or I wouldn't be doing much more than 13 miles at marathon pace. But then that's not specific in terms of the duration. So I find that like fartleks like this are the ones that replicate the marathon best, because you can go quite a long way, like 30K, 32K, I'd probably peak at in this sort of session, with periods where you're pretty much at marathon intensity. but because you've got the float sphere, it's more manageable. That's sort of my philosophy. I think the long runs are important because you can get the duration in, a bit more duration, like doing 40Ks at a good pace. Obviously, that's specific enough, but you're still probably 20 seconds a K slower than marathon pace.
Yeah, I guess also like I don't know if you say, oh, I'm going to go do a fartlek run, like you probably don't think you're going to do 30K. So like it's a very broad like term, isn't it? And this application of it isn't, if you're looking at like what fartlek means, isn't really it either, is it? Because this is so set and prescribed. Whereas
Yeah,
like
like fartlek,
so
not historically like
Like you're not
organic, isn't
running
it?
between
Like lamppost
trees.
to lamppost or whatever. I don't, most
yeah
Yeah, most people aren't doing that, are they? They're doing either time reps or distance reps. But I mean,
yeah
this is for me, this is like the starting point of the marathon specific fartleks, in that I will just extend the on efforts and keep the recovery efforts the same. So I've done like 2K on, 1K off, and 3K on, 1K off, and like probably the hardest session I give people, or I do myself, would be like 5x5K off 1K. But I wouldn't always give that. I think that's nearly too hard. I've seen people do like 3x10K, and that just seems insane to me. In terms of recovery costs needed.
yeah. It depends on the recovery, doesn't it? Because you could do like 3x5K. Like I might do that, but like I probably wouldn't float the recovery.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that
would
does make
probably
quite a big
just
difference.
stand, and then it goes from like 15K broken up to 18K continuous. All that like is quite a different.
Yeah. And that's why I like the fartleks, though, in terms of them being specific, like in the style I've done it today. And that, I've averaged 319 a K for 30K. Like, ideally, I want to be running only, well, my PB is 10 seconds a K faster than that. And if I can run 15 seconds a K faster than that on race day, that's great. So it's pretty, I think it's the most specific stuff you can do, whilst in terms of intensity and the duration, like that compromise there. But anyway, this session gave me loads of confidence, to be honest. I feel like I'm in a better starting, well, I'm definitely objectively in a better place than I was this time out from Valencia last year. Because I've done so many of these sort of sessions, and just like the average pace, what the heart rate's doing, how it feels. So I was, really happy with that. Did some S&C with Mima in the evening at home. So it's been a very token S&C job this week, but she's been given a plan to do by Neve, and I just joined for her for that. So a bit of I've got a 20 kilo kettlebell, so some split squats and
It's a big
some
kettlebell to have at
general
home.
squats, some core stuff. Oh, I don't need much more than 20 kilos. I'm not that strong, especially at the minute. And I was stiff the next day. So yeah, that was quite a big day in the end, especially because we started this S&C session at 8:15 in the evening, because that's when I was in bed for. So we went to bed too late on Friday night. Saturday, just 45-minute jog. Like I said, I like just a Saturday to recover, especially if I've done a big day on the Friday. Thought I was going to feel awful, and felt actually pretty good, which was nice as well, because I thought I might be a bit beaten up, judging by the state I was in at the end of his 30K. I was fine. I was still in some sort of control, but I was working pretty hard by the end. And you can tell because my paces were starting to slip as well. But actually felt pretty good. So yeah, 45 minutes, 420 a K. And then next day, 2 hours, 10 minutes long run. So 32K, about 300 meters of climbing. And for this one, I just stuck my GPS, just stuck my Garmin on like the maps screen, and didn't look at heart rate, didn't look at pace. Finished it thinking it was going to be like 420 a K, and it was 402 a K. So I was quite happy with that. Heart rate was good, felt all right, and that ended up being 191K for the week.
Did you
which
need
is the biggest
GPS
I've
for
done in
that?
a
Because
while.
me and you have done that run before.
Yeah, What was that? Sorry, Owain?
Me and you have done that loop before.
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it a few times. I've done it with Jake Smith as well. And I didn't really need the map up, but it was just something to distract me. But then I realized because I was listening to music, it was giving me instructions, which was pretty annoying. So it was like turn left, and then like it'd be a turn left where it's not actually a turn left, and then it would tell me about 4 times you're approaching the left-hand turn, you're nearly at the left-hand turn. In 20 meters, you're going to do the left-hand turn. You're now doing the left-hand turn, and actually, it wasn't even a turn in the first place. It was just a bend in the road. But
we could
anyway.
do a whole other podcast about rants about Garmin.
Yeah, I need to turn it off. I'm sure you can turn it off, can't you? But it was pretty annoying.
Yeah,
I
and they're
did go
normally late as
and
well. When there's actually a turn, it's normally
go and check what the Saw Doctors was on Spotify. Very questionable music taste.
Yeah, were you impressed, Jen?
My favourite one was the
Questionable.
one about
This was like the backing track to my childhood.
the green and red
Go on,
of
Jen. What were you
Mayo.
saying? Yeah, Mayo is a county in Ireland, not mayonnaise. Just FYI. And their flag is that's the colours of their flag. They're an
I was
Irish
thinking it
band.
was like
They were like the back. They were. It's sentimental listening, I think, because it just reminds me of we used to have it on like on road trips. We used to drive down to the French Alps every summer, and my dad was into this band. I think as kids we got taken to see them a couple of times, and it was good listening. Kept me entertained for 2 hours 10 minutes, and I think my music taste is very eclectic. But I'd go check them out. I think they're worth a listen. They feel good.
of the week.
It's like
Yeah.
like what would you describe it as? Like, folk rock, but they take themselves really unseriously, I would say.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, I'll add it.
Give them anyway, 191k for a week, 1100 meters climbing, quite a lot for me, and actually finished it feeling pretty good, which is what you want, isn't it?
100,
just 1 week.
191 is into your danger zone, though.
I know it is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm redlining a bit. But no. Bounce back. We're recording on Tuesday. Bounce back with some good sessions today. So feel like I'm all right. And it's only 1 week until I'll taper into Cardiff half. So I think I don't think I'm taking a big risk, really. I think it's a managed risk. I do think my sweet spot is 180, 185k. I don't know about this round to Japan guy with his nearly 300k weeks.
When are you getting on the triple days?
However I ran that, I would just be broken. Never. I've got some sense. Train smarter, not harder. Well, actually, no, train smart and hard. That's what you've got to do. But yeah, don't just copy what he does on Strava. Nice.
Cool.
Some good weeks there.
Yeah.
Some really good weeks.
2.5 good weeks. Cool.
So,
No,
I'm not saying anything. I'm just talking nonsense now.
I was going to say, should we leave it there for this week?
I think so. I thought this was going to be a shorter episode, but it's still like an hour and 23 minutes, isn't it?
We love talking.
I to be honest, listening to other podcasts, I like a long one because it fills up a 75-minute podcast is great because that fills up like a standard
That's a run.
day. Yeah, it's a run. You don't want one that's like 30 minutes, do you? Because then you've got to change it halfway through or put something else on.
Yeah, you have to cue them up, and it's
an
really
hour 23
annoying.
should cover. Yeah, if I should cover most people, I feel.
Yeah. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the run they've just finished.
Yeah. Nice.
We'll catch everyone next week. As always, check out Store as well. Thank you for sponsoring, and catch both of you next week.
Yeah, see you then.
Looking forward to it.